ladies, are you dreaming big enough? I want you to dream big and act bigger. You see, I want to have power. I want to be empowered. Suddenly, being empowered is a more positive word, because I want to make sure that I know my own values, my boundaries. I know what I want to achieve in life. Visible and invisible barriers are only a problem if you accept them as such. So a woman with a big dream also needs to have a plan, because without a plan, that dream is just a wish.
I love her confidence, I love her charisma, and her positivity and her brightness and her color and her lessons about life. You know, as a woman who's been through so much, it was really, really inspiring and really interesting.
I had 4 kids in 2 years. I wanted to be a businesswoman. I had no money. I had to think, how is this dream going to happen? If you actually start believing if something's important to you, just back yourself. Back yourself despite what other people say. Successful people are not held back by what other people say.
I would recommend that for everybody, because everybody should have a dream and everybody should back themselves. So I think she's awesome.
Even when it feels like everything's not going to work, they go, you know what? I'm going to make sure that this does work. I'm going to be positive despite, because it brings energy, it brings opportunity. And as soon as you actually get half glass empty, your vision will start failing. I encourage you to start making your dreams a reality in business and in life. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to our Mindset Magic Summit, brought to you by Women's Biz Global. It's just been so fantastic having so many of you amazing women and men from around the globe tuning into this summit, jam-packed with incredible women who are all around the globe. And my next speaker is actually in Australia, but the opposite side of Australia. I'm in Sydney, and my next guest is Kaye Doran, and she's coming from Perth, and you are going to absolutely love Kaye. So first of all, welcome, Kaye.
Thank you, Annie. It's so wonderful to be here and to be part of something that's just so giving and uplifting to so many people. So thank you.
Oh, such a pleasure and it's such an honor to have you join us. And I know I've heard you say before that your motto is the power of change is in your hands. And I absolutely just love that. I wanted to start that with your session going, you know what it is in our hands. It's in all of our hands. Those of you who are tuning in today going, yeah, I don't know, I sometimes feel stuck and I want to feel unstoppable. Well, you are going to love hearing from Kaye today, because she's a woman who's going to be talking all about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and what that means and how that's going to happen. For those of you who don't know Kaye yet, she's an entrepreneur, an international best-selling author, a speaker, podcast host, facilitator. She's a women's shamanic leadership coach. She's a creator of Inner Expressions. And she's all about helping women realize their leadership from within. And who wouldn't want to be more like that, more free to be the woman that you dream to be? She's an unshakable optimist. I love absolutely everything about her. And she's really, really powerful in not only the physical world, but also the spiritual world. She has incredible gifts, and I know you're going to feel them as she shares today. So I'm basically just going to hand over to you, Kaye.
Thank you so much, Annie. And I'm so thrilled to be here. And it's actually my absolute passion and purpose in life to support women to feel and know their inner power so that they can be the leaders within their own lives. And, everybody along the way, and this will happen cyclically, will get stuck in their comfort zone, because our natural tendency is to stay with what feels familiar. So that can be in all the different areas of your life. The comfort zone is just not sort of one big banner. You could be thriving in one area and stuck in your comfort zone in another. But the process to get through it is the same. So you could be feeling stuck in your comfort zone financially, within relationships, within your business and career, within your health and well-being. Now, that's a big one where women tend to get stuck, because we tend to be so focused externally and wearing so many hats. Now, the thing is, the subconscious is singular. In terms, what do I mean by that? The subconscious only really knows how to say yes, it receives. So we've got a whole lot that's sitting there that's fueling that subconscious, that is responding from that fuel, from that directive, if you like. The problem is it's predominantly filled with false stories and beliefs. And you realize that I use words very powerfully like false stories. If I just say they're unconscious beliefs, and you don't really connect with that. But if you call them false stories and beliefs, you are calling them out for exactly what they are. That in itself, the use of language, helps fuel you to move you. Okay, so the conscious mind, which is also everything that's sort of speaking to us within our body, and how we're feeling within our physicality as well. Now that holds choice. That's dual. It can receive or it can reject. Okay, so it's important to start to understand that subconscious, because it says yes to your directive. Okay, let's draw that to you so that you can respond from that. So it's really important to understand the terrain in order for you to grow. Now, the interesting thing is, to grow past your comfort zone means that you must take action. You must take action on change. See, the power of change is in your hands. No one else can do this for you. I'm a coach and a healer. So anyone that's giving that level of support is merely a guide who knows the terrain, that's going to empower you with the understanding and the tools. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you must choose to change. So it's a choice. But if you don't choose, nothing will change. You will stay the same. and your external results will stay exactly the same. So you must choose to change, and then you must make the choice to make those changes. Now, the subconscious is also designed in a way that wants to protect. So that which is the strongest muscle, if you like, rules. So if you're predominantly ruled by those false stories and beliefs, and you've only got your vision externally, so you're not even bringing an awareness to them, it's a little bit like when you drive somewhere and you follow that same pathway all the time. Have you ever noticed that it's so familiar that sometimes you wonder, how did I get here? Because it's like being on automatic pilot. That's a little bit like sitting in the passenger seat, and those false stories and beliefs are actually driving the vehicle. Now, here's the thing, though, most of those false stories and beliefs were developed in your younger years. And we can't blame anybody because it's still our perception of what we took on, how we perceived something. Then, especially if it had an emotional reactive charge to it, that creates a snapshot. Like a photograph. The photograph has the charge to it, the image to it, the words, the feelings to it. So it's a memory. It's something that we hold firm within us. We need to reprogram ourselves and feed very consciously what we want to fuel into that subconscious. But first, we need to understand what happens in that growth process. Because all too often, what comes up, people tend to try to suppress, okay, and push away. And that which you try to suppress will get louder and louder and louder. And then you are held hostage to it unless you understand exactly what's happening. And the problem is it's because it's perceived as negative. The process itself is not negative. The perception and the belief that you put into it makes it a negative. But I want to say this to you, and this is really important to understand. Every aspect within you, every element of you has the right to be seen, heard, and validated. Not necessarily believed in and followed. Okay, so we've got to get ourselves from the passenger seat into what I call the driver's seat of our life. Now, if you imagine this, that all that you'd predominantly taken on in the first 7 years of your life from your primary caregivers and the lenses and perceptions of what you were wearing, that's like having a child driving your life. You think about that. Would you allow a 7, 8, 9-year-old to get behind the wheel of your vehicle and drive? No. So it's important to see things symbolically like this because it sort of shocks us into, damn right, I need to make the choice to change, to grow. Now, the thing is, we have like what I like to term a double elastic band around us. So you have one elastic band that's holding you to all that is familiar. You've been this, how things have played out, what is familiar has been in the spotlight. Every day you've exercised that muscle of familiarity, of your thoughts, of your emotions, of your reactiveness, or of your proactiveness, your choices on autopilot. But the minute you make the choice to grow, which means you're willing to change, which means you're willing to enter the uncomfortable, the unfamiliar, you've got another elastic band around you connected to that aspired future, that aspired result. Now, that aspiration also comes because there's an inner voice of knowing inside of you that has three elements to it. Now, most people will call this intuition, but again, words have power. So I don't like the word for myself, intuition. I've never known it to be intuition. All my life, I've had that inner voice very loud within me, and it's always been an absolute knowing. Intuition, intuitiveness feels etheric, something I can't really hold on to. Can I trust it? An inner voice of knowing, there's no doubt in that. It's a stake in the ground. It aligns us to it. It charges us. Language is powerful. But there are 3 elements to that. And at this stage, I need you to understand this, because it's part of the empowerment. It's the part of the weaving everything together, from the mental landscape to the emotional landscape to your physicality and your actions that you do need to take, but also your energy, like weaving a beautiful tapestry, as one of my clients said. Weaving the rug as you become the conscious creator and you craft your future results on the other side of your comfort zone. So the inner voice of knowing is the inner voice of knowing, power, and potential. So that knowing is the voice of God, if you will, if you're uncomfortable with that, of the divine I am presence, whatever you'd like to call it. It's okay. The component of power is your soul. Now, we're all soulful beings that have chosen to embody into the physical in order to grow. So it's that element that we also want to be part of our GPS, to live a life that we love and get the results that we aspire to. And the third element, knowing, power, and potential, the potential element is your future successful self that has already achieved that result. She's whispered to you those aspirations. Write that book. Start that podcast. Get fit, strong, and healthy, whatever it might be. And she's saying, come. You are already successful. Let me show you the way. So those 3 components, this is important to understand, all under the banner of that inner voice of knowing, is your GPS in life. It has your back. That which is seeking you, you are seeking it. That which you are seeking, it is seeking you. And you don't necessarily need to know all the hows. You just need to follow, connect in with, tap into, and be guided by that. Okay. So as you decide, I'm going to grow, I'm going to go for that which I aspire to, I'm going to become the woman that I aspire to become, and I'm going to create the life that I love, that is success for me in all these different areas, because you actually can have it all. There's a mass consciousness of false stories and beliefs that we need to peel away those illusions as well. So as you start to take action, as you are prepared to grow beyond your current comfort zone, you will have a moment where you start taking steps. Then that subconscious is going to start whispering to you. Fear. Let me tell you, fear is your friend, because it's there saying, hey, beautiful, you are heading in the right direction, but you are going to need to continue to really grow and let go of beliefs, of behaviors, of actions in order for you to expand into that which you aspire to. And then all those excuses. Here's a process to defuse fear. Because the more you try to suppress it, the more it will grab hold of you. So remember, everything within you has a right to be seen, felt, and heard. But that only takes a moment. This is a very quick process I'm going to share with you to defuse your fear. In other words, to take it from the driver's seat, loosen its grip from you and put it into the passenger seat. You write down, these are my fears, they're not my truth. And you write out and you name and you call out every single fear that's there. It may even surprise you. There might be others that come running after that. Then the heading under that is, these were my fears, they are no longer my truth. And then you write out everything, all the positive results, flip them all over. Use I am wherever possible. Okay? And write them all out, all the power stuff. I actually did with this with a client the other day, and the minute she started it, she just started laughing, and she said, actually, she's been doing that process for so long, the fears, she just went, don't even need to do it now. It's sort of laughable. And at the end of writing out all those positive outcomes, when you've flipped those fears, this is my truth. And you'll be amazed by doing that process, by taking it from behind, because all those supposed negatives, stabbed in the back, talk behind the back, fear coming in, you've gone eyeball to eyeball with it and you've defused it, you've put it in the passenger seat. And then you just need to call out all those false stories and beliefs, the excuses, the I can't, I'm not good enough, and call them out for what they are. And turn those into I am statements. And take action anyway, because it's telling you all of that process. When you start to feel really unsure and uncomfortable, it's another signpost going, okay, I am in the process of breaking that old elastic band. I choose to continue to change, which means I lean in even though I feel uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable for a really good reason. I'm in growth. I'm moving into a quantum shift. So that's where you need to use that process to defuse the fears. Recognize all your excuses are false stories and beliefs. Flip those into I am statements, because anything you put after the I am, which is that presence deep in the heart center, you are calling it into being through the power of your words. You must have a clear vision, get very clear on the landscape that you are creating. Get very clear that the emotional reactiveness that you may experience when you start repeating those words that are what I term below the line, those false stories and beliefs, it's because it's that snapshot for you. But that feeling too is false. As you choose to shift that mindset and feed something new into the subconscious. And here's another trick, if you like. Here's another powerful process. Put your hand on your chest. Put a bit of pressure there. What this is doing is activating the heart intelligence, the miniature brain that exists within the heart that sends more messages than the brain itself does. You're activating that heart intelligence. You do breathing with 4 power words. You can use love, compassion, understanding, and forgiveness, which starts to dissolve any residual emotional false stories and beliefs that are sitting there. Or you can use things like, I am strong. I am powerful. I am capable, whatever you'd like to do. I am now here. And you're breathing that in and you breathe it down to the base and you say those words in your mind while you hold that breath. Then you drop the jaw and you release that breath. Now, if you do that for 2 to 3 minutes, you are not only bringing yourself into the now moment where fears, doubts, insecurities do not exist. They only exist when you are tethered to your past or harpooning projections into your future. In the now moment, you're at peace. You're in joy. All is well. So you're activating the heart intelligence by having your hand there in a bit of pressure, by doing that breathing, by internally saying those words. You're connecting and turning up the amplification of your inner voice of knowing, your GPS, your guidance system. And you're feeding a new belief. You're feeding those words into your subconscious. Now, you do this often enough and you start overriding that previous program. Remember, you've had all these years where you've been exercising, feeding, strengthening all that old. Don't expect to do this once or twice. This becomes a lifelong process, part of your change. And then you take the actions. You look at the top of the mountain and you paint that picture, but you don't stay looking there. And the more that you align and the more that you lean in, that old elastic band will eventually break. Now, using the car analogy again, you might have moments of life when you're in 5th gear, but 4th gear, 3rd gear, 2nd gear, 1st gear, even a pit stop is required. It's just about you checking in. And part of this process is turning your vision inwards and recognizing, listening to yourself, understanding what you're saying, what you're thinking, and recognizing why it's there and where it's come from. And then utilizing the new that you learn, building new muscles, developing new programs, growing new neural pathways in your brain, being guided by that intelligence in that heart center, your GPS. Now, what do we do when we listen to the GPS? We just put in the destination and it tells us to turn left, turn right. And we just go with it because we know it's going to get us to where we're going. So yes, you must take action. Yes, you must apply new practices, develop new ways of thinking, to develop new neural pathways, to do things that feed into the subconscious. I highly recommend meditation because meditation turns your vision inwards. It helps block out that noise. It taps you into and it develops the witness in you. And it's when you become the witness that you can hear, feel, sense, know all those old programs. So recognize this. When you are by your very nature wanting to stay in your comfort zone, but that is not serving you. You have an aspiration for a reason. It's come from that inner voice of knowing, power, and potential. Remember, you're already successful. You consciously craft your future by making it really clear, like painting a landscape. You align your thought process to that outcome. You align your words to that outcome. You keep defusing your fears. You keep choosing to understand that it's a really uncomfortable process for a time and that you don't need to stay in 5th gear. You don't need to know the how because that GPS within you is telling you the how, will feed you the how. You just need to keep being in action, but you don't have to be in 5th gear all the time and stop looking up at that end result. There are moments to, and there are moments just to go. 1st gear, remember this, is still movement. It's just about checking in which gear are you meant to be in. As long as you're staying in the driver's seat. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's telling you exactly you're in the right place of growth. Choose to change, make wise choices, get disciplined with it, because you don't develop that muscle overnight. It's over repetition that you're rewiring, reprogramming, and get yourself some support if it's all too hard. But you've got this. The whole of the universe, all of life force exists within you. You've been manifesting all your life, just unconsciously. So that's why I don't like the word to manifest. Become a conscious creator and craft your future. Be prepared to grow. Discomfort comes with growth. Learn the tools. Get in the driver's seat and go and create that life you deserve. And you are worthy, very simply, because you are a soul, part of the divine universal force. You've just got to pierce the illusions that have intruded, and the truth is well and truly beyond your belief system. Thanks, everyone.
Oh my goodness, that was so powerful. I can just picture actually all of those delegates actually like, yep, I've just picked up my backpack and I'm not staying in that passenger seat anymore. I'm going to have to do a full flip. And I loved your language through that presentation. You know, some of you delegates, you're going to need to watch this over and over and over again, because this has just been a masterclass on the type of language that Kaye has actually been sharing there, that she's calling things out, false beliefs. You could even call them lies. You've got to say what it is. It's not a truth. It might be what you have believed. It's what's come into your subconscious mind, but it is a false belief, you know, and I love that. I feel so empowered. And I know those delegates going, I would be going, yeah, I feel this new sense of power. Is it going to be easy? I tell you what, it's going to be challenging, and you are going to feel that resistance. And I love your comments on fear, that you make fear your friend. I absolutely love that, because you're going to have to know that. You have to know yourself so well. And when you really start unpacking what Kaye has shared today, you're going to just feel so strong, so empowered to actually go, yes, I'm going to not only take that seat, I'm going to be driving wherever I goddamn want to go. And, you know, it's just going to create this whole new lease of life. Now, some of you might need some help and support from that, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever it is, on Women's Biz Global platform. If you've got some questions, write those questions now. If you'd love to actually just contact Kaye, just go, yeah, please, let's connect. I know she would absolutely love to share with you. You can see her website is also there, kayedoran.com. She has got so many amazing, wonderful programs, things to share with you. She's also obviously an author. She has books, resources to share with you. But most of all, she just loves sharing her heart, and she loves sharing her soul, and she loves equipping women to just really just unleash those shackles and go, enough of sitting in that passenger seat, right?
Yeah, thank you, Annie. And I do love sharing. So I'd just like to share one last thing, because a lot of people will say with things that I ask them to do, oh my gosh, that's so simple. How can that work? But I want to just share this analogy. Sorry, it's just come to mind. You know, that I can sit here and type an email to you, Annie, and I press send and you've got it moments later, seconds later. That seems really simple, doesn't it? But we all know what's going on underneath has a greater complexity to it. So don't underestimate, you know, doing some of these simple processes like the defusing of fear, or, you know, the connecting in, because it might seem really simple, but the power and the complexity, what's going on at deeper levels, exists.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. And repetition, you said that repetition, and knowing what you're repeating. And there are communities of people. There's people out there to support you in this process. We're all about equipping women to move on to that next stage of self-actualization, to be able to, you know, be that woman they're wanting to be. Thank you so much. You have just been a absolutely spectacular presenter for our summit. We are so blessed that you have come to share with us. And I absolutely can't wait for the next summit already, but I'll have to wait for 3 months. But thank you so much, Kaye. And for everybody else, stay tuned. Our next speaker is coming up real soon. Make sure that you don't hesitate on actually just asking questions. Ask anything, just pour it out or go, yes, I needed to hear this today. Speak some words out into the universe, release them from yourself. Take that first moment. That first little step might be even just to activate and say, Kaye, type that down. Kaye, I actually put my hand on my chest and I just seriously felt a new energy force. Whatever it is, every speaker I know is going to impact you in an incredibly powerful way. And I think we've just been honoured with that presentation today. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hello and welcome. My name is Annie Gibbins, founder and CEO of Women's Biz Global. As a woman, a career executive and mum of 5, I know that becoming successful in a modern day society, it can be extremely difficult and challenging. The requirements of career and business success are often overwhelming, especially when you have competing priorities like family. But that does not mean that you can't be extraordinary. At Women's Biz Global, our goal is to educate, motivate, and elevate women so that they can have the freedom to live a life they love. It doesn't matter what your current status or position is. Your empowered future starts now. Whether you're a startup or a scale-up or you're juggling business, life, career, family, everything, we will teach you how to dominate in your niche area without the stress and overwhelm that comes from wasting time and money and energy. We will equip you to achieve success, balance, and happiness on your terms. We invite you to join Women's Biz Tribe. Start by attending Women's Biz events and enjoy the benefit of interacting with like-minded women from around the globe who are choosing to unapologetically play a bigger game. Women's Biz Coaching offers a variety of programs that may suit your needs. We have boot camps and webinars, online structured programs and incubators. They're all designed to help grow your personal and professional brand, confidence and support framework. Women's Biz Media will help you discover extraordinary women via our podcast, Memoirs of Successful Women, and reach 12 million potential readers via Women's Biz Magazine. Women's Biz Publishing will take all the pain away from getting your voice and message out into the world. Your brand value will literally skyrocket overnight. And if you would prefer to access our consulting services, I will personally ensure high value solutions are provided to meet your specific needs, to time, to budget, and all with a beaming smile. Finally, get to know our affiliate partners and learn how you might like to become one yourself. Women's Biz Global is the support network that will fast-track your journey to success. So what are you waiting for? Be unapologetically you. Women's Biz Global, helping women succeed in business and life.